Welcome to today's Deep Dive. We're going to be looking at the future of medicine and how personalized it's getting. And we've got a really interesting mix of sources today, some research articles, and even some scientific blog entries.
Yeah, it's a very exciting time to be in this field. We're really seeing incredible progress in genomics, AI, and even pharmacology.
So let's just jump right into it. I think some of the blog entries that we have today about RNA sequencing are a great place to start. They're talking about how scientists are using this for all sorts of different applications, everything from finding cancer-causing genes to understanding depression in the brain.
RNA sequencing, or RNA-Seq, really gives us a powerful tool to analyze the complete set of RNA transcripts in a cell or a tissue. It's like taking a snapshot of which genes are turned on and how active they are. And that's really useful. It has huge potential for personalized therapies because it can lead to faster diagnoses and more targeted treatments.
Yeah, one of the things they were talking about is how RNA-seq is being used to detect fusion genes, and I thought that was really interesting. Fusion genes are basically these hybrid genes that form when two separate genes combine, and these are known to drive certain types of cancer, so finding them early on could be a game changer for treatment decisions and patient outcomes.
Absolutely, and it goes beyond cancer as well. You know, another blog post highlights a really cutting-edge technique called in vivo Perturb-seq, and this is combining gene editing with single-cell RNA sequencing to study how genes function within living tissues.
Wow, that sounds really complex. What is it that makes this technique so powerful?
Well, imagine if you could just tweak a specific gene and then observe the effects on other genes at a single-cell level. That's essentially what in vivo Perturb-seq allows us to do.
Wow, so it's like taking our understanding of disease down to a whole new level, right down to the individual cell. That kind of precision must be crucial for developing these personalized therapies that we've been talking about.
Absolutely, and this idea of personalized treatment really comes through in the next set of articles that we have from computational biology and bioinformatics, and they highlight the use of artificial intelligence, and specifically geometric deep learning to understand neural activity.
AI for brain insights. That sounds fascinating. So what exactly is geometric deep learning?
Well, you can think of it this way. We're essentially teaching computers to see patterns in brain scans, the way that we do, but on a massive scale that humans could never achieve.
So we're teaching computers to think more like our brains. What does that even mean?
Well, it means that we're able to analyze very complex data, like a brain scans, in a way that mirrors how our brains process information.
Okay, so what are some of the things that researchers are doing with this?
Well, researchers are using this to classify Alzheimer's disease, to predict preterm birth, and even to identify specific cell niches within tissues. So it's really showing a lot of promise for diagnostics and healthcare.
It seems like AI is becoming this indispensable tool for both researchers and clinicians. But what about the treatment side of things? How does all this new knowledge about our brains translate into better therapies for patients?
Well, that's where our next source comes in. It's an article from Genomics Proteomics and Bioinformatics, and it's about a unique clinical pharmacology strategy for ADCs, or antibody-drug conjugates.
Antibody-drug conjugates. I'm not familiar with those. What are those?
Well, imagine a really powerful weapon that can deliver toxins directly to cancer cells, minimizing the damage to healthy tissues. That's essentially what ADCs do.
Oh, so instead of attacking cancer broadly, you're really getting hyper-specific. So I guess that's why researchers are really excited about this technology.
Exactly. And the article emphasizes the importance of understanding the unique pharmacology of these conjugates to make sure that they're safe and that they work as well as possible. They're very complex molecules with specific mechanisms of action. And tailoring their design and delivery is crucial for successful treatment.
That makes a lot of sense. And it sounds like we're moving towards this future where cancer treatment is much more precise and personalized.
Absolutely. And this personalized approach is also evident in the realm of radioimmunotherapy, or RIT. And we have another article, again, from Genomics Proteomics and Bioinformatics, that focuses on comparing two different antibodies for potential use in this type of treatment.
Now, I know that RIT uses radioactive substances to target and kill cancer cells. So how do these antibodies actually play a role in that?
Well, different antibodies have different affinities for specific cancer cells. And so this research is all about identifying the most effective antibody for RIT.
So it's all about finding the right tool for the job, whether that's an antibody, an AI algorithm, or a gene editing technique.
Precisely. And the more we learn about individual biology, the better equipped we'll be to make those choices. And I think that's why this research is so exciting. It's really paving the way for a future where healthcare is truly personalized from diagnosis to treatment.
That's a future I'm very excited to see unfold. Why don't we just a quick break, and we'll come back and dive a little deeper into these developments.
Sounds good to me. We've been talking about all these advancements that are paving the way for personalized medicine. But it's important to remember that this is really just the beginning. We're only scratching the surface of what's possible.
So what does all this mean for us as individuals? Are we on the verge of like a major shift in how we approach healthcare?
Absolutely. We're moving away from this reactive approach where we treat symptoms after they appear, and we're moving towards a much more proactive approach where we can actually predict and prevent disease before it even develops.
That sounds kind of like science fiction. Is that really achievable?
Well, it's becoming more and more realistic thanks to the incredible advancements in these technologies, like RNA sequencing and AI. These technologies give us an unprecedented level of insight into the complexities of human biology. We can now analyze these vast amounts of data, identify patterns, and develop predictive models that were simply not possible before.
So it's almost like having a crystal ball that can tell us about our future health.
In a way, yes, but it's crucial to remember that these technologies are just tools. They're only as effective as the data we input and the questions that we ask.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about using it wisely and responsibly.
Precisely. We need to be very thoughtful in our approach and ensure that these advancements benefit everyone. We don't want to create new health disparities or worsen existing ones.
That brings up a really important question. How do we ensure that these personalized therapies are accessible to everyone and not just a privileged few?
That is a critical issue, and it's one that we need to address head on. We need to work towards a future where personalized medicine is equitable and inclusive, where everyone has access to the best possible care, regardless of their background or socioeconomic status. It's a significant challenge, but it's absolutely essential if we want to realize the full potential of these incredible advancements.
Absolutely. We've been focusing a lot on cancer therapies today, but these advancements aren't limited to just one disease, are they?
Not at all. We're seeing this personalized approach applied across a wide range of diseases, from neurological disorders to cardiovascular disease. One that comes to mind is preterm birth. We have an article here from Computational Biology and Bioinformatics that I thought was really interesting. It highlights how AI is being used to predict which pregnancies are at risk.
Now, preterm birth is a really serious public health concern, so being able to predict which pregnancies are at risk could make a huge difference in outcomes for both the mothers and the babies.
Exactly. By analyzing various factors like maternal health history, genetic data, and even environmental influences, AI can help identify those who might need closer monitoring or interventions. It's like having an early warning system that can help doctors and expectant mothers make more informed decisions.
That's truly remarkable. AI seems to have just boundless potential in healthcare. We're seeing it being applied in drug discovery, clinical trial design, and even robotic surgery. But where do you see the biggest challenges and limitations for using AI in healthcare?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is data bias. AI algorithms are trained on massive amounts of data, and if that data is biased, the algorithm will inherit and perpetuate those biases. This can lead to inaccurate diagnoses or treatment recommendations. It's like the old saying, garbage in, garbage out.
So data quality is paramount. But how do we ensure that the data that we use to train these algorithms is actually representative and unbiased?
It's a very multifaceted problem that requires careful consideration of data collection practices, representation in data sets, and ongoing monitoring of algorithm performance. There's also what we call the black box problem, which is that it can be difficult to understand how AI algorithms arrive at their conclusions.
So even if the results are accurate, we don't always know why. That seems like that could be a problem, especially in healthcare, where transparency and explainability are so important.
You're absolutely right. We need to develop AI models that are not only accurate, but also interpretable, so that doctors and patients can understand the reasoning behind the recommendations. The goal is to use AI to augment human decision-making, not to replace it entirely.
Right. AI shouldn't be seen as a threat to doctors' expertise, but as a powerful tool to empower them.
Exactly. It's about finding the right balance between human expertise and AI assistance.
All of this brings us to the ethical considerations surrounding the use of AI in healthcare. How do we ensure that it's used responsibly and ethically?
Well, it's a very complex issue, and it requires careful consideration and ongoing dialogue. We need to establish clear ethical guidelines and regulations for the development and deployment of AI in healthcare. We need to make sure that patient privacy is protected, that trust and consent are prioritized, and that everyone involved understands how AI is being used and how it impacts their care.
It's certainly a lot to think about, but it's clear that the integration of AI into healthcare is already well underway. And it has the potential to completely revolutionize medicine as we know it.
Absolutely. And speaking of revolutionary advancements, let's circle back to RNA sequencing for a moment. We touched upon its use in understanding depression earlier, but there's so much more to explore there.
Yeah, it seems like RNA sequencing is providing really valuable insights into the molecular mechanisms of various neurological disorders, including depression. It's really helping us unravel the complexities of the brain at an unprecedented level.
Right. One of our sources actually mentions a web application that visualizes ETAC and single-cell RNA sequencing data to explore brain cell type contributions to depression and suicide. And that's really helping us understand how different types of brain cells contribute to these conditions.
So we're not just looking at gene expression anymore. We're also looking at how chromatin accessibility influences gene regulation. It's amazing to think that we can now study the brain at such a granular level.
Exactly. By combining these different layers of information, we gain a much deeper understanding of the complex interplay of factors that contribute to these disorders. And this knowledge can then be used to develop more targeted and effective therapies. As our understanding of the brain continues to grow, so too will our ability to develop effective treatments for neurological disorders.
That's an incredibly hopeful thought. It sounds like all these advancements in RNA sequencing, AI, and personalized medicine are pointing toward a future where healthcare is truly personalized.
It's a future where treatments are tailored to each individual's unique biology, a future where we can predict, prevent, and cure diseases with greater precision and effectiveness than ever before.
It's definitely a future worth striving for.
I couldn't agree more. But it's important to acknowledge that getting there requires continued investment in research and development, collaboration across disciplines, and a commitment to ethical and equitable access to healthcare.
We need to ensure that these advancements benefit everyone, not just a select few.
Absolutely. We have a responsibility to ensure that the future of healthcare is one where everyone has the opportunity to live a long and healthy life.
It's amazing to think how far we've come. We're really talking about tailoring treatments to a person's unique biology. That seems like a huge step forward.
It is. It really is. It's like we're putting together the massive puzzle where each piece represents, a different aspect of human biology. And AI is giving us the tools to see the big picture and understand how all those pieces fit together.
I totally agree. It's really exciting to see how technology is driving this progress. But with all this talk about, AI and advanced techniques, it's important to remember that the human element is still really important.
Oh, absolutely. Technology can provide us with all these amazing insights and tools, but it's the human connection between a doctor and a patient that really makes a difference. Empathy, communication, and understanding are still vital components of effective healthcare.
Right, so this isn't about replacing doctors with robots. It's more about giving them the best tools to provide really exceptional care.
Exactly. AI can help doctors, analyze huge amounts of data, identify patterns, and make better decisions. But it's still the doctor who interprets that information, considers the patient's individual needs and values, and ultimately comes up with the treatment plan.
It sounds like a really powerful partnership between human expertise and AI.
It is, and it holds so much promise for the future of healthcare. Imagine a world where diseases are diagnosed much earlier, treatments are more effective, and patients feel empowered to take control of their own health.
That's definitely something worth striving for. And it seems like we're on the right path with all this research and innovation happening.
I agree. We've really only scratched the surface. And as we continue, on this path of discovery, it's crucial to have open and honest conversations about the ethical and societal implications of all these advancements. We need to make sure that they're used responsibly and equitably so that everybody benefits.
It's a collective responsibility for sure. We all have a part to play in shaping the future of the healthcare and making sure that everyone has access to good health and well-being.
Absolutely. That brings us to the end of our deep dive today. We've explored some really groundbreaking advancements in personalized medicine and artificial intelligence.
It's been a fascinating look into the future of healthcare. And I think it's clear that the future of medicine is really bright and holds a lot of promise for all of us.
It has been a great discussion, and it really leaves us with a lot to think about. How will these advancements continue to change healthcare? What new challenges and opportunities will they bring? And how can we work together to ensure that these technologies are used responsibly and ethically?
Those are important questions for sure, and we'll continue to explore them in future deep dives. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.